Hello everyone. Sorry, I'm a little almost late today. I was doing something and totally lost track of time. I was working and lost track of time. Hi. Hello. I'm back. Hope you had a good week. It's not over yet, but it will be soon. We're back with more Hunter the Reckoning, A Time of Monsters. I'm very excited to see where Hannah the Trash Panda goes. As Jerry in the chat already summarized, we Chaos Gremlin too close to the sun, and we drank some blood from Lydia the vampire. And that's fine, because we didn't get ghouled to her, or like not really. At least we don't feel overtly like we have to do like we're in love with her. We weren't like that pathetic receptionist that she had, who like said who basically looked like us like we were a piece of trash, which we are. It was like, do you know how to read? But so it's fine. It's fine. This is fine. We can still do what we're gonna do, and it's fine. We got the Tai Shan Huai also to agree to help us, possibly. It's also, you know, another thing that's weird about this? I was thinking about this today, because I'm like, oh, I have to stream today. Another thing that's weird is that there's no XP expenditure happening here. Normally, in the Choice of games, you get to, quote-unquote, sort of level up, right? You get to do something or go somewhere and you get to level up some attributes or some skills. But because it's laid out like this, we haven't done that at all, which is strange. Ooh, Lydia's intrigued by us. Nice. And the gangs are keeping an eye on us, and the locals think we're not half bad. We also, like, gave most of our food away, because we only have one food now. And we got some of like the local neighbors to let us know if any vampires start doing any shenaniganry in the neighborhood. So that's good, I assume. But we're on Interlude. This is an hour after that particular party. Don't want to spill water over myself. Not quite yet. Oh, goodness. Excuse me. You spend what feels like half the morning just sitting there turning one thought over and over in your head. No, not just one thought, one word. Tonight. Tonight. It's party on the rooftop, top of the world. It's going to end tonight. Dancing on the edge of the Hollywood side. There we go. Everything that was kicked into motion in that one dark alley a month ago, everything that's gone on since then, all the desperate fights, all the tense confrontations, all the dangerous chases and quiet moments of camaraderie and chilling revelations. This is what it's all been leading to. This is where it all comes to a head, when all the forces you've hunted, helped, and hidden from come together for one final clash, with only one coming out on top. Oh my gosh, is this the final episode? That'd be crazy. The only question is, which of these forces are you going to side with? Now, I've been staring at the screen for a little while before I got distracted by work. And out of all of these choices, which is siding with the hunters, not trusting a hunter's word, or not trusting a vampire's word, rather, or siding with Lydia, I like this one the best, because I think this is the one that will get me the most easily killed. I'll pretend to side with Lydia, but only to backstab her when the time is right, because, how am I going to do that? I'm literally just a baby trash panda, but I think that's funnier. So I'm gonna pretend to side with Lydia, only to backstab her when the time is right, when actually she's going to rip my esophagus out through my butthole. Hi, hello, Rachel. The vampire just looking at the trash panda like some strange zoo animal. No, I'm her zoo animal. You'd be lying if you said Lydia's offer didn't tempt you just a little. A way out of poverty, a way out of the powder keg this neighborhood is turning into, respect, luxury, a shot at the power you need to make some real changes and do some real good. How could you not be tempted by that? But if that kind of thing means betraying the people who've helped you, sheltered you, and fought alongside you for the past month, if it means abandoning this place you've come to call home, if it means abandoning not just the other human beings you know, but human society altogether, no, you can't do that. You won't do that. If Lydia wants you to choose between her and humanity, then you choose humanity. Even if it means you have to put a stake through her heart when the moment comes. And yet, every time you think of turning against Lydia, about betraying her, about hurting her, something in you recoils. Oh, so she did ghoul me a little. As if even the very thought was like the stench of rotting meat. How could you possibly harm her? How could you possibly think of her as an enemy when she's done nothing but try to help you, tried to protect you, and tried to look out for you? She's your best chance for a future. You can't turn on her like this. No, stop. Quiet, inside voice. That's your fear speaking, or your hesitation, or some fucking head game that vampire's playing through the goddamn Wi-Fi network. You have to get a hold of yourself. You have to remember whose side you're on. You can't afford to choke, not now and not later, and definitely not when the moment of truth comes. Better call the others into a meeting now. They'll need all the time they can to get mentally prepare themselves for what's coming. And as it turns out, so will you. Context updated, Lydia Parker Cunningham. Okay. I'm sad we're probably never going to get to kiss Will, because I think I didn't do enough spend enough time with him. It only takes 10 minutes to gather everyone in the theater. Given how on edge everyone seems to be, you probably shouldn't be surprised. Unfortunately, the second you give your warning, you get asked the exact question you've been hoping to avoid. Hold on a sec, Mandy interjects. How did you find this out? We haven't heard anything on our end. You shrug, trying not to look suspicious. I have my sources. I guess they're just better than yours. For a second, she seems about to ask another question, but then she just lets out a sigh. Fine, keep your secrets. That's a Lord of the Rings reference, I know that now. The important thing is we've got time to prepare. Let's not waste it. The others nod, like you're all on the same page for now. I don't think there's much point... Oh, excuse me. Allergies. I don't think there's much point in repeating what's at stake here, right? Mandy begins as you all settle into your seats and turn to her. God knows this place has got enough of its own problems, ones which we've got more than our hands full trying to fix. But if we roll over and pretend what's coming tonight isn't going to make everything worse, if we let those bloodsuckers waltz in and use this place as their playground, then things are only going to get worse from here. She leans forward, looking each of you in the eye. People have already died because of these bastards, because we were never prepared enough to stop them, because we never knew when they were coming. That stops tonight. A chorus of nods from the others. You nod too. Tonight, when they waltz into this place and use it as their own private little Thunderdome, we'll be waiting for them. We'll be ready for them, and we will beat their ass, so hard that they'll know that these are our streets. And that those of us who live here, we're not bystanders to shoo off, or obstacles to be removed, or fucking cattle to be fed on. Another chorus of nods, this one harsher, grimmer. You all know that for all of Mandy's tough posturing, you're way outmatched. She knows it too. She wouldn't have bothered with the speech if she didn't know. And she knows that too. Okay. You can see the hesitation of self-consciousness in her expression as she looks around the table again. Well, she continues, softer, more hesitantly. If any of y'all got questions, now's the time. Do Canadians say y'all? When she's done nothing but give you food, is giving you food, will give you food. I know. That's all Hannah ever thinks about. We are so strong. We are the strongest. With the amount of food that we carry in our system at all times, we can't be beat. How can a vampire withstand that? We're like an iron gullet, literally. Have we called in the Tai Shun Hui? I actually successfully managed to convince them to help us. Can we actually use them, please? Mandy nods. I called the number you gave me. They'll be on their way. She lets out a sigh. You know I'm going to be a lot happier when they get here. I know they're supposed to be arrogant tools and all, but it'd be nice knowing that we're not going up against this whole fucked up mess alone tonight. You and her both. Even with the Tai Shun Hui on your side, the odds for what's coming tonight ain't great, but having Vancouver's most experienced monster hunters watching your back will definitely make things more even than they would be otherwise. Hopefully it'll be enough to keep you all alive. What's everyone else got? Who cares what I have to say? Nobody's got anything else. Great. Awesome. That in of itself... Because I don't understand. I'll never understand. I mean, I understand the basic principle because, like, we're the main character. But one thing that's always bothered me about certain things is that when you are, let's use Night Road, for example. Like, in Night Road, you don't have a coterie. You're, like, a person in and of themselves. Excuse me if you heard that. Let me mute my Slack really quick. You'll hear that. When you are a person in and of yourself in in Night Road, you don't have anyone else really to ask but yourself. So I understand that. But when you're in an ensemble piece, in a coterie or a cell or a pack, I like options to ask, like, other people, like, what their opinion is or what their ideas are, and then choosing one of their ideas, as opposed to everyone looking at, like, the newest recruit or the youngest person, and everybody looking at you and going, what should we do? It's always taken me out of a story, and I really can't stand it. So when I do ask, like, what's everybody else got what are their ideas, and then it's there's just nothing here. That sucks. That in and of itself is all kinds of weird. Usually these meetings end with some kind of chatter, even if it's just a bit of small talk, the kind that friends usually break into naturally when they're in the same room and have even a few moments of time on their hands. But tonight, now, nothing. Only an uneasy, nervous silence. The other hunters look at each other with anxious eyes, then look away. We should get ready to step off, Will says, the scrape of his chair against the floor almost unspeakably loud as he stands up. I'll be, well, you know where to find me. Wordlessly, the others get up from the table and go their separate ways, carrying with them distracted thoughts and unsettled expressions, leaving you alone at the table. It's hard not to notice how nervous the others are, and really you can't blame them. You're almost as shaky as they are right now. Sure, you've known what's at stake for a while now, and somewhere in your head you knew that it'd eventually start to come down to a confrontation like this. But that doesn't make it any less terrifying now that you're staring it in the face. Tonight you're going to be facing down the night with nothing but your ragtag collection of allies on your side. Tomorrow morning you'll either be victorious or dead. It's hard not to be nervous when that kind of reality sinks in, but just because it's natural doesn't mean it's going to be helpful. The last thing you need tonight is for those jitters to trip you up while you're fighting for your life. Well, they're going to. You need to be at the top of your game. Your survival and the survival of your friends depends on it, just as your life might depend on the others. Let's go talk to Will, for God's sake. I wanted to pick this one. I need to take some time for myself, work through my own feelings. No, let's go kiss Will, see if he'll kiss us. I don't think he knows us well enough to kiss us, though. I will give Book of Hungry Names some credit there. You generally were just the tie break and the other yes, all had their own things to do, even if you're the only one who can hold a job, I know. I mean, Nim's gigs but it didn't bring in money, like, for the pack, personally, but I imagine Nim made some money off their gigs. Maybe they didn't. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that. But no, Kyle's really good at doing that, so I do appreciate it. And I'm not just talking choice of games. I'm like, in general, that aspect of RPGs always trips me out. You find Will in the storage room just as you would normally, but what isn't normal is the way he sits hunched over in his corner, his expression blank, his eyes peering unfocused and unmoving at the glass object cradled in his hand. It doesn't take you long to figure out what it is, a rectangular bottle full of amber brown liquid, sloshing just a little as it rests in weathered, trembling hands. Will kiss your hands, the little metal collar around the cap still attached. Will doesn't look up at you as you knock against the side of his open door. He doesn't even look up at you as you get close. Hey, are you gonna be alright? Will nods. Oh, hiccup, almost absently. He still doesn't take his eyes off the bottle. I'll be fine, he replies, his voice hollow and distant. I'll be fine. Are you? I'll be fine. He repeats louder. That's what fine people say. They just keep saying it. But with no more conviction, as if it were the slogan of some long-dead regime rather than the assertion of truth. For a second, that's all he says. You've already begun turning away to leave before he speaks again. Why would we do that? Wait. You look back. Yeah? I lied, he replies, slumping back into his chair, cradling that full bottle like an infant. I'm not fucking okay. This fight, us against a small army of blanks, their unpaid interns, and whatever fancy bullshit wizard powers they bring to the table, scares the goddamn shit out of me. I've done this shit before, but it was always with the gear and the numbers on our side. Not this time. Even if everything goes perfect, some of us are gonna die tonight. You know we'll do our best to keep each other alive, you reply. We're a team. Yeah, I know, Will replies as he turns up to face you. That's the problem. The last time I went on a hunt like this was 8 years, 3 months, and 14 days ago, Will says as he motions for you to sit down in front of him. Priority orders from First Light. Blank bodies up to some shit at a pipeline outside Calgary. He shook his head. He shook his head? He shakes his head? That present tense? They just look like kids to me. The kinds that always start shit every time an oil company violates treaty land. I wanted positive ID before we went in, make sure we weren't about to murder a bunch of teenagers. He gives you a pained look as he shakes his head. Podersky cursed me out for being a coward, took point, and put 3 explosive rounds into the head of the nearest kid with his carbine. After that, it was weapons-free over in less than 30 seconds. Were they actually vampires, you ask? One of them was. The others? They were human as far as we could tell. Maybe the one blank fucked up their heads, maybe they thought she was just one of them. We never learned because we shot them all, tagged them all as neutralized hostiles, and went back to the compound. He shakes his head again. Every time I think about what's coming tonight, I end up thinking about that op, about that team, about the looks on their faces. We're not... I know, Will replies, hand half raised in reassurance. Different time, different place, and most importantly, different people. But I can't decide how my memories work, and the worst thing, that's only the first step down the rabbit hole. He shakes his head again. The second I start thinking about those days, it all comes back all at once. What it was like, spending my entire life fighting a war that never ended, going to work with people who you knew had a coin flip's chance of not making it to the end of the night, of strapping in to fight something that you knew could rip you apart even if you checked your corners and watched your six and did everything right. I close my eyes and it's almost like I'm back there, so much so that when I open them again, all I can think about is how little's changed. He looks down at the bottle in his hand. "The shit does a lot to me," he all but whispers, his voice filled with desperation. "It slows me down, keeps me off balance, it makes me run my mouth like a fucking teenager. But it also drowns out the memories." His eyes glaze over again as he lets out a long, sad sigh. Maybe that's what I need right now. Why is this grayed out? Oh, I have a few ways I could think of to take your mind off things. Why is that grayed out? Because our relationship isn't high enough? Hannah was clearly playing hard to get and it worked. This is so... This is so ass. This is ass. I don't know what to say. I hope you figure it out, man. Will compartmentalize like you taught me to do. I'm so disappointed. Compartmentalize? The term brings Will up short. When the hell did I teach you that? The week I helped you dry out, you remind him. You taught me a whole bunch of stuff from your training. You told me that compartmentalizing intrusive thoughts could help keep them out of the way. That reminding yourself of how different things are now can stop bad memories from fucking with you. Yeah, well, I probably shouldn't have told you that, he replies with a look of regret. I've been trying for what seems like all evening and it's gotten me nowhere. He lets out another bitter chuckle. Look at me so fucked up I can't even trust my own voice in my head. Then trust mine. What? Focus on my voice, you reply, steadily, softly. I wasn't a member of your old team. I never knew who you were in your old life. You reach out, resting a hand on his shoulder. That stuff you went through with them, that was the past. This is now. We know who our enemies are, not because we were handed orders from superiors, but because we found out for ourselves. We know what they want, and we know why we have to defend ourselves and each other. I trust you, the others trust you, and we will watch your back out there because we respect you and count on you. And we know that you would do the same for us. God, I'm going to have to close everything. Even my Discord is popping up. Why everybody bugging me? Stop it. Oh, where was I? Slowly, Will begins to nod. His breathing evens out. Under your fingers, you feel the muscles of his shoulder relax. All right, he mutters to himself under his breath, like a mantra. Is this helping, you ask? Right now it is, he replies, frowning. The second you leave, though, all bets are off. I'll stay then! Then remember, I'll be there with you when we go out today, you reply, still in the same gentle voice, but as firmly as you can. I'll be there and so will my voice. Focus on it, orient yourself on it, let that help you remember where you are, who you are, and what we need to do. Will that work? Again, Will nods more firmly this time. It'll be enough. After a moment of silence, Will hands you the bottle. Get rid of this. I don't care how, just get it out of the way, at least until morning. You take it with a sigh of relief. Hopefully this means the other hunter will be in top shape tonight. Having your combat specialist sober and focused should increase your chances of seeing the sunrise. Whatever. It's so ass. It's so ass. I swear. The game is clearly just punishing you for not interacting with the story at the start. Yeah, I know. It is actually. It is because I got the opportunity when I spent that whole, like, outrageously long section of drawing Will out. And then at the end it asked me if I, like, had, like, romantic feelings for him. And I said it did, and then nothing has happened with that. And I think it's because I've also gone to Lydia twice. And I don't know. I really don't think you should be punished for such a thing. I think if you decide to hang out with the hunters or decide to hang out with the vampire just to learn more, I think there should be some sort of middle ground. Again, there's this weird thing where there's not... in the same way the other choice of games have had, is that between the chapters, they're doing this interlude thing, but this interlude thing is also plot stuff, where there's like less plot stuff and there's just like an XP expenditure moment, and then you can also talk to everybody. It doesn't really push you forward until you pick the one that is plot relevant in the list. And I much prefer that to this. It makes the game feel more fleshed out. The sun's still hovering over the city skyline. You've probably still got plenty of time left. Well, if I can't go back to Will, I don't care. Plenty of time left. Kind of ridiculous to see it that way now that you think about it. You've got maybe 2 or 3 hours left before you need to move, which means in 5 or 6 hours you could be dead. There are people in prison cells awaiting a firing squad with more time left than that. But for you, it might as well seem like an eternity, enough time to do anything at all. Nah, I'll take time for myself, thanks. I don't care about anyone else. I don't care. I don't care, I'm mad. There's no time to leave the theater. The streets aren't going to be safe soon, and the last thing you want to do is be caught out alone and distracted when your enemies descend on the Downtown Eastside. Thankfully, the theater itself is full of quiet, dark places that nobody else goes to, places where you can sit down and think. You find yours in the costume room, the one which you first set foot in the morning after all this started, when you spent all that time looking for clothes which might not have been perfect but were good enough. I didn't get my tutu. I'm still mad about that. Enough. That's what this past month has been, isn't it? Hasn't it? Trying to make sure you're safe enough, trying to make sure you're fed enough, yes, trying to make sure that you were just fast enough to get away, strong enough to weather the beating, smart enough to survive. Only tonight you'll need to do more than survive. Tonight you'll have to face down your enemies at their full strength. Tonight either you win, or this neighborhood you've come to see as your home is going to end up under the thumb of an undying tyranny, one that sees its streets and alleys as a hunting preserve, and the people within it as a food source. That's not even accounting for the immensely dangerous game you're going to be playing tonight. It's one thing to face down the enemy in front of you with your friends and allies watching your back. I don't have any friends. It'll be another to play traitor, biding your time from within the enemy's own ranks. Slip up even a little and you're going to find yourself alone. It's fine, I am alone. Next to a creature which could pull you apart in an instant. Fuck up your timing or say the wrong thing and you just might end up getting hunted down by your own friends. I wish I could change my mind and switch over to Lydia's side because Will won't kiss me. You've tried to prepare yourself for this, tried to steady your thoughts and steal your mind, but will it be enough? I just might be able to pull this off. Yeah, I doubt it. This might still be a horrible idea. There are so many ways this can go wrong. There are so many. How much am I going to talk about how overwhelmingly the odds are against me? How long has this been? There are so many things that you could say or do that might give you away. So many chances for your enemies to find out whose side you're really on while you're alone and vulnerable in their midst. So many ways for you to choke when the moment of truth comes, and yet there's still a chance that everything goes right. That you maintain cover and evade suspicion for just long enough to pick your moment. That you strike hard enough and fast enough to swing the whole situation in your favor. Maybe even enough to end the fight before it begins. Your chances of success, well, they're not great, but they're there. And tonight, that's enough for you. The sun's, oh my god, I still have to talk to one of them. The sun's still up barely. The downtown skyline is practically a dark, jagged mass now. The individual outlines of its office towers made a single silhouette by the sheer intensity of the setting sun behind it. In maybe half an hour, it'll be hidden entirely. That still gives you some time at least. You'd better use it well, at least if you plan on surviving the night. I don't. Mandy, I'll talk to Mandy. I'm gonna continue. Well, if I can't have Will... If I can't have what I want, and obviously, and I gave my food away to the neighbors, like, in a desperate bid to try and get someone to actually be my friend, which didn't work. I'll talk to Mandy. She's the only, I'm not going to talk to Fleur-de-Lis. I have gone this entire game with never having a one-on-one conversation with her, and I'm sticking to it, come hell or high water. You find Mandy not in her room, but outside the theater's front door, standing in the darkened drizzle of the evening, a worried expression on her face, her eyes staring at nothing in particular. No, not nothing. As you get closer, you can see her gaze far into the distance, past the narrow passage of the alley in front of you and out onto the distant, muffled lights of Hastings Street beyond, at the coming and going of the cars and at the moving silhouettes of the people who pass in front of them, appearing for a moment in the narrow frame created by the walls of the alleyway, only to disappear again on the other side. The other hunter jumps a little when she sees you. What? Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. She puts on a smile, one which disappears a second after it shows, as if it were ashamed of how forced it looked. I was just doing some thinking, that's all. What you thinking about? Dying? Game is just like, you will interact with them! I know. I know! I wanted to interact with Will, but it's not giving me what I wanted. Literally, because my hidden relationship metric isn't high enough with Will. It's crap, man. Just some stuff, she replies noncommittally. Getting my thoughts in order, dealing with last-minute doubts. A mental health day, if you could call it that. More like a mental health hour, I guess. What do you mean? For a second, Mandy seems to spill. By the look on her face, it seems like she desperately wants... No hiccuping. Wants to, even if it means letting out some deep personal secret in front of someone she's never been particularly close to. But only for a second. Then she forces that feeling down and lets out a sigh. I think it'd be best if I had this time to myself, actually. Sure, she finally says. Sorry, but I'm all kinds of emotionally fucked up. Yeah, this is the game's way of basically telling you didn't spend enough time with me. There's not enough time. There's not enough time to spend with everybody because the game moves it along. Like I said, there is no in-between chapter points, downtime, as a D&D player would call it, for you to develop these things. Because I had pretty good relationship, because I'm 100% positive in Book of Hungry Names. I had relationships with Nim and Patrick and the one I got killed, whose name escapes me because of an E. I had good relationships with everybody because I would go to like all the barrows, and I'd go talk to Melody, and I'd go talk to all of these people and develop my relationships with them. Didn't have really the opportunity here. You kind of just have to pick one thing and go with it. She doesn't want to talk to me. Fine, I don't care. I don't want to talk to her either. Maybe you should be somewhere. Yeah, I don't want to talk to Fleur de Lis either. I don't know her. I've never spoken to her. The door to Fleur de Lis's sound booth is shut. Its lights are out. I don't even know she stays in the sound booth. But even from the other side of the doorway, you can hear the rapid, frantic clatter of fingers on a keyboard rattling faintly from the other side. What? She all but snarls at you as you knock on the door. It's Hannah. Just checking to see if you're okay. Yeah, I'll be fine, she replies with a manic edge, the kind of voice someone puts on when they're desperately trying to convince someone else that they're okay when they're obviously not. Fleur de Lis, are you sure you're okay? You ask. I would be fine, she replies, her voice so firm and steady that you know that the words had to have been forced. I just need some time. I just need to be left alone. And she wants to be left alone, and I'll leave her alone. What is this? What is this? It's so ridiculous. Time to go. The only way you're going to pull this off is if Lydia doesn't suspect a thing, which means the last thing you want to do is show up to your rendezvous suspiciously late. Getting away without being seen is easy enough. The others are still busy working through their own fears and worries. The hallways are empty. The auditorium is empty. Even the hallway leading out to the front door is empty. You make it outside without seeing another soul. Yet when you do, you can't help but spare one last look at the building as you step out into the darkness. Tonight, you're going to be playing the most dangerous and high-stakes game of your life. We know. We know. Not only the most powerful creature you've ever seen, but against your own doubts, your own hesitation, against that voice in the back of your head that keeps telling you to give in and let the vampire win. I might. At this moment in time, I might. I'm at my lowest point. I'm lower than when the cops came and raided my tent. This might be the last time you see this place, this moldering, decrepit wreck of a building, which was your only safe harbor when you first came to this neighborhood a month ago. At least in Beast of Glenkildove, at least I got to, oh no, I forget his name. At least I got to bang, I forget his name because of the C. At least I got to bang the beast. And then I died almost instantly. Shoot. It's not Connacht. It's something like that. Shoot, I can't remember his name. But at least I got to kiss him and tell him how much I have been holding a torch for him for like a decade, and then we banged, and then I died, and that was so satisfying and wonderful. I don't even think my death will matter, and that's the worst. That's the worst thing you can do to me. Okay. So you turn away, you head off into the night, into the darkness. You see the lights long before you reach the rendezvous point. Brilliant flashes of incandescence sweeping across the darkened streets, painting wet concrete and brick in the swaths of bright red and blue. It comes from the tops of two vehicles parked right where you were supposed to meet Lydia. Not the low, sleek police cruisers you're used to seeing, but huge, heavy blocks on giant wheels that look like something in between a delivery truck and a pillbox from a war movie. In the flashing light, you can just about make out the outlines of figurines, in body armor, cordoning off the area with bright yellow crime scene tape. What the fuck's going on? Have you been set up? Who are these guys? Whereas it's only when you get closer and see the red shoulder flashes on their uniforms that you let yourself relax. It's Lydia's guys. Only safe harbor, after we ditch everyone and find a great apartment instead. Yeah, exactly. I'm about to ditch everybody. I'm about to go back on everything I said. Then she is there, impeccably dressed as always, parting the mass of armored figures like a razor blade cutting silk. So, I was not wrong to put my trust in you after all. You sure weren't, ma'am. I'm here for you. She intones, perfect white teeth glistening behind smiling blood-red lips that just barely hide the tips of her fangs as she reaches out, pale slim fingers stark against the twilight gloom as she pats you gently on the head. Well done, my faithful bloodhound. Your heart swells. You feel a surge of warmth radiate from the top of your head, all the way down your body, as if that little gesture and those words were the greatest compliment you've ever gotten. You force a smile, even as inside your head you ask yourself what the fuck is wrong with you. She shouldn't have this kind of control over you, should she? Lydia turns to the others, the body-armored figures gather around her as if by silent signal. You have all done well these past few weeks in helping me pursue this threat, she begins, her voice pitched carefully to carry, even at normal speaking volume. Now the chase is at an end. We have driven our quarry to ground, and it is time we strike the final blow. She raises an arm east towards the Downtown Eastside. Tonight we will see this hunt ended. You will never be able to speak of what we are about to do, but you will remember it for the rest of your lives. Follow orders, maintain your awareness, and she smiles, a killer grin which says volumes by itself. Do not hesitate to draw blood. Oh, you won't. You definitely won't. But it won't be the blood she's expecting. Nah, I'm not gonna do it. Really? That's the end already? It's been 30 minutes. No, I'm gonna keep going. No. Yes! Let me get back to the game! I'm gonna keep going. Okay, Act 5, the killing blow. When you'd start off tonight, you'd still held some hope that this was going to be quick, simple, maybe even easy, that with the sheer amount of firepower Lydia's Red Cavaliers had brought to the field, you'd be able to handle this quick, get the job done, and be back out so fast that you'd hardly have time to notice. And so fast that you'd barely have the time to think about how this night is going to end and what that means for you and the rest of your life. But that hope didn't last long. For what feels like long hours, Lydia directs you and her armed entourage down side passages and back alleys. Where is my hunter group? Where's my cell? Sticking to the shadows, keeping out of direct sight of any lit windows, you scour the entire Downtown Eastside back to the front again and again, chasing after glimpses of elusive shadows, after the sound of running footsteps or the flutter of a long coat somewhere in the night sky. Each time you seem to get closer and closer. Each time it becomes clearer and clearer that you're not just chasing a collection of random noises, that the Thin Bloods really are out there somewhere ahead of you and still out of reach. Lydia glances at her watch with a look of languid annoyance. An hour until sunrise. Is this their plan? To run out the clock? If that's the case, we shall have to move faster if we mean to see this matter concluded tonight. I don't like being rushed. Don't rush me. Apparently, Hannah's a huge fan of the slow burn romance. Huddy hates that trope. It's my least favorite. Lydia suppresses a flicker of annoyance, blotting it out with her normal look of cool confidence. Rest assured, I have little doubt that Roderick would wish to end this matter tonight as much as we would. I have little doubt that his rashness and overconfidence will draw him out sooner rather than later. Then why do you say okay, if you're going to say I have little doubt twice, then do a third one, so it sounds like you did it on purpose. Otherwise, it seems like you didn't pay attention to what you were writing. Then we shall have more than enough time to dispose of them, his friends, and his plans. You want to ask for more info, but you get the sneaking suspicion that you're going to get more evasion. No, Lydia's keeping her cards close to the chest. She might make a big show of trusting you, but you know she really doesn't, not yet. Whatever her plans are, you're not going to find out just by asking. Ma'am, one of the Red Cavaliers reports in, voice barely comprehensible under the thick drawl of some American flyover state accident. Okay. Open space ahead, looks like an interior courtyard. You know where you are. How could you not? You live here, or at least you did. Your mental map of the Downtown Eastside puts you right in the middle of it, which means, Lydia frowns, a prime location for an ambush. She reaches out, the tip of her nail raising your chin up to bring your eyes on level with hers. God, how much taller is she than me? Scout on ahead for me, my bloodhound. Find me what lies in that courtyard. If Roderick Lung is trying to lead us into a trap, I want to know. You nod. Of course you do. This is why you're here, right? You know the ground better than anyone else, and if Lydia trusts you to take point... Hell, if Lydia trusts you to take point, then it's a fucking honor. Oh my god. Where is my cell? Quietly, you creep forward, squinting in the darkened alleyway as you look for any sign of an ambush, any sign of a trap. You scan the roof lines, knowing just how high your enemies can jump. Not Thin Bloods. You look down in case one of them is lying in wait down a sewer entrance. Finally, you check the ground level, which honestly you probably should have covered first. There are 3 obvious exits to this place. One you're standing in right now, another is right in front of you, the third shoots out to the right onto East Hastings, where the occasional car or late-night bus still putters along, their lights casting long shadows into the space of the dilapidated, crumbling courtyard walls. But there's also a 4th exit, one which leads down a blind alley to circle back to the left. In broad daylight, it's obvious, but in the dark of the night, where the shapes of buildings become dark silhouettes against a sky lit only by the moon and what little starlight gets through the city's light pollution, it might as well be invisible. Lydia wouldn't know about that exit, nor would any of her beat squad. They've never been here, but you have, maybe a dozen times in your month, calling the Downtown Eastside home. Maybe Roderick and his friends know about it too. Maybe... You hear something shift in the darkness, something that comes from that blind exit. The sound of a shoe scraping. Oh god, not shoes again. We love shoes. Scrape, especially the footprints they leave. Maybe a sleeve against the brick wall. A person, perhaps. Some people are still out late at night, but there aren't a lot of them. That doesn't mean this has to be an ambush, but given the circumstances, a blind exit, an open courtyard, movement in the dark. Come on. It's an ambush. I should fall back and warn Lydia about the likely ambush. It's definitely an ambush, but I'm not telling Lydia that. No, I'm going to tell her. No, screw this. I'm going to tell her. I don't care anymore. I don't care. We're a chaos trash panda, not a bloodhound. I don't care. I don't care. I'm so over my cell. I hope they all... I hope I would kill every single one of them and then myself. It seems weird telling someone you're about to betray that they're going to walk into an ambush, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. There's no doubt that you're going to have to betray Lydia by the end of the night, but that night isn't over yet. You still need her around to get rid of your other enemies before you can stab her in the back. So you head back and tell her what you found and what you suspect. Lydia smiles when you tell her about the ambush, an elegant predatory thing, a stiletto dagger cased in silver and rubies. How unimaginative of him to choose so obvious a location. Clearly he has underestimated me. Or rather underestimated you. She brushes her fingers against your face. Well done, my dear precious bloodhound. Well done indeed. You say nothing, you do nothing, you endure that touch for now. When you look up again, Lydia is already giving orders to her red cavaliers. Almost in unison, they take off their night vision goggles and form up. One of them takes something off his belt and leads the others forward in a chorus of heavy-booted footsteps. A second later, there is a sound like a firecracker going off next to your ear, a brilliant flash of white, and a cacophony of half-familiar voices shouting in panic. Foolish little stripling to think that they could play hunter against me. Lydia says, that vicious predatory grin back on her face as she strides forward with impossible speed. Follow me and let us teach him and his friends what it really means to be hunted. I guess I'm doing this by myself. The Red Cavaliers have already drawn first blood by the time you get to the fight. Disoriented and dazed, your enemies barely have a chance before Lydia's heavily armed guards are able to meet them with a hail of fire from their submachine guns. One of the Thin Bloods is already on the ground, a puddle of something wet under their motionless body. Another is pressed against the brick wall behind a corner already riddled with bullet holes. As for your vampiric ally herself, she wastes no time, advancing through the melee with a terrifying speed and an even more frightening determination, her stiletto heels rapping a sharp and rapid beat against the wet pavement as she closes in on the Thin Blood leader. Roderick stands his ground against her. He might know he's outmatched, but he also knows there's nowhere left to run. He braces himself, poised to meet his enemy's charge, chin raised in final fatalistic defiance, as the gap between one's mistress and one's servant closes with a dreadful inevitability. Oh my god, I'm looking at a vision of my future playing out before me in real time. But you've got other problems. The last of the Thin Bloods is still free to act, and she doesn't waste any time. It only takes her a second to regain her bearings and another to straighten out a familiar-looking black raincoat. Oh, this is the one that killed Sheng. Then she turns around, narrows her eyes, and charges directly towards me. Why me? Why not the people with the automatic weapons? Sound of gunfire pulls your attention to the right, just in time for you to see 3 of the Red Cavaliers close in on a 4th figure, their silhouettes lit up by the muzzle flash of their roaring submachine guns. Their target jerks obscenely as the bullets slam into them in long, controlled bursts, but by the time the guns fall silent, whoever it was isn't moving anymore. Can that kill a vampire? Enough bullet wounds inflicted enough times? You don't have the chance to ask. Your attacker is coming for you again. Come on, I just have to hold out a little longer? What are you talking about? I'm so confused. We didn't bring anything with us? Lydia didn't give us a side piece? Like a 22? The fuck? She couldn't spare the cash to buy a 22? I mean, they do have automatic weapons, I know. You can feel your body start to tire out just a little, but it takes one look at your enemy to know that What? But it takes one look at your enemy to know that so is she. The laws of thermodynamics don't make exceptions, even for supernatural bloodsuckers, and she's been moving around a hell of a lot more than you have. Now she's winded, her movements are slower, less confident, you've worn her down. And all you need to do is hold her off just a little longer. This time when she comes at you, it's not to land a single killing blow. No, this time she comes in swinging and slashing, trying to cut you down with a flurry of blows that feels as much fueled by desperation as by anger. You see each shot coming long before it lands, ducking out of the way, giving ground when you have to, regaining your balance when you can. At last she extends one swing too far and you find yourself staring right at an opening. With a single fluid movement, you duck down and drive yourself forward, slamming your shoulder into her gut so hard that you feel the shock of impact go all the way down your ribs. Vampire or no, your opponent still weighs as much as a human her size would, and that weight is nowhere near enough to so much as slow you down as you lift her off her feet and sling her off your shoulder, sending her crashing into the wet pavement like a sack of rice. But your attacker's quickly in front of you again. Battered and stung, she doesn't look like she's in the mood to fuck around. The look on her face is one of pure rage as she lunges towards you, poised to strike a killing blow. She never gets the chance to. No sooner does she take another step forward than a force wrenches her backwards as if she were nothing more than a plastic bag caught in the gust of wind. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind? With a startled yelp that turns into a high-pitched scream, she flies back into the wall behind her, slamming into the brick with a sickening crunch of snapping bones. And then she is there. Despite everything, Lydia's suit is still immaculate. What an icon. If the fight has misplaced a single hair on her head, you sure as hell don't see it. Your would-be attacker lets out a wet gurgle as she staggers to her feet, gasping in pain, her raincoat in tatters. She gets barely half a step before Lydia sends her crashing down to the pavement with a casual backhand that lands like a sledgehammer. Insolent creature, you should know how to stay in your own class. Stay in economy! Stop trying to sneak into business class! She looks almost pathetic now, crumpled on the ground like that. That terrifying monster who'd you'd faced that one night, an eternity ago now, looks nothing more than a broken, beaten girl, trying as hard as she can to pick herself back up on an obviously broken leg, her expression flashing between fear and anger as she tries to push out one last defiant word. Yeah, well, why would you go after me? And not someone actually dangerous. Lydia doesn't let her. With an almost exaggerated elegance, she pulls out a long wooden spike from her jacket pocket, then drives it into her prey's chest with a single vicious movement. The thin blood goes limp, slumping into a puddle with a wet, scraping shudder. You look up to the sight of darkness and the sound of silence. The fight is over. Dun-dun-dun. One of the four figures who you and your allies had been facing only minutes before, only one of them is still on his feet, barely. Roderick Lung, for a lack of a better term, looks like absolute shit. What was once a tailored suit jacket hangs in tatters off his slumped shoulders. The shirt underneath is in barely any better shape. Even his arrogant gaze seems dulled as he eyes the muzzles of the four submachine guns pointed directly at his head. Only when Lydia approaches do his eyes ignite with a fresh flare of fury. So, you've come at last, like a good little lapdog, ready to go wherever your masters tell you, he growls as he glares at his former superior, sparing you not even a cursory glance. Once, I'd hoped that you'd realize you were as exploited as we were, that you were a little different from us. Now, I understand better. He shakes his head, teeth gritted in pain. You enjoy this, Lydia. You enjoy being someone else's puppet, being a cog in a machine which sees you as little more than a glorified middle manager. That you're so stupid to think that the little scraps the prince gives you are compensation enough for a life of blind obedience. I had hoped you were smarter than this, Lydia replies, as her eyes look down on her former subordinate with a look of white-hot contempt. In this world, we rise as high as we deserve. We get what we are capable of seizing. We are elevated to new heights only when we earn them. We do not reach for powers we lack the wisdom to grasp. She shakes her head and smiles, that terrible predatory viper smile. Do not hate me for being able to understand what you have so comprehensively failed to. Jeez. God, she's the worst. How dare they insult our new master, I know. How dare they insult our new mommy? Hate, he looks up with pure defiance. I don't hate you, I pity you, and I think one night you'll finally figure out why. I mean, obviously he's more right than she is. On the contrary, Lydia replies, after tonight, I do not think I will ever feel a need to think about you at all. Oh, you will, the thin blood spits back. So long as your kind treats mine as nothing more than disposable underlings, there will always be those who will plot rebellion against you. Tell the Camarilla to watch their backs, because there will always be someone like me standing behind them. Lydia smiles back, cold and vicious. We will know better than to rely upon ingrates like you in the future. We shall have no more trouble from your kind, because you shall be the last of them. With a single... No, it's literally impossible. Toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't put it back in, Lydia. I'm sorry. That's for all the world. With a single fluid movement, she rams the stake into the Thin Blood's heart. Roderick teeters, then falls to the pavement, his eyes defiant, but his body utterly helpless. You let out the breath you didn't realize you were holding in. What started in a dark alley more than a month ago is ended. So why did I have to go and talk to my friends? They weren't even here. What were they gearing up for? I'm so confused. What started in a dark alley more than a month ago has ended in one too. Where you were once alone, scared, and outmatched against an enemy that you barely understood, you now stand triumphant. The creatures which once stalked your nightmares lie motionless on the wet ground, soon to meet an annihilation that you doubt they're going to come back from. Where's the Tyshawn White? Like, there's nothing. I'm so confused. One down, one more to go, and you try to remind yourself this part was the easy one. When it comes time to stab Lydia in the back, you're going to have to be much more careful. If you aren't, then the same forces which helped you take down the Thin Bloods will be all too happy to rip you to shreds. But you'll have to move fast too. Lydia sure as hell is. Only half an hour until sunrise, so we shall have to move quickly, she orders. Carry the prisoners back to the extraction point and prepare them for trial and execution. I will secure the objective and join you shortly. With military efficiency, the Red Cavaliers sling the motionless bodies of the Thin Bloods over their shoulders. For all their power and all their ferocity and movement, they look almost pathetically small hanging off the broad-shouldered forms of their captors. Part of you wonders if that's how you're going to end up if you manage to shit the bed when it comes time to reveal your true allegiances. No, probably not. You're not a vampire, you're not subject to their rules. They'll just riddle you with bullets, plant a bag of fent on you, and turn you into another organized crime statistic. That's how I want to go. Probably want to avoid that. Nah. But you're not done yet, not tonight. Lydia makes that clear as she motions you over. Bloodhound, you have performed well. Only one task remains before I am at liberty to see to your reward for your services. What's that? I suspect that Roderick Long would not have made his stand here unless his laboratory were somewhere nearby, she explains. I want you to find it for me. Thankfully, it doesn't take all that long to find what you are looking for. All you really have to do is go up the exit that the Thin Bloods had come out of. From there, it's just a straight shot down another alley to a place with windows carefully blocked off from prying eyes or sunlight. This has to be the place. We need to move quickly, Bloodhound, Lydia replies, a hint of impatience in her voice as she glances at the lightening pre-dawn haze over the eastern horizon. If we intend to be... Suddenly she stops, her eyes narrowing in suspicion as she fixes her gaze on the entrance to the building. When you get close enough, you see it too. The door inside has been left ajar, the frame splintered and cracked where the lock would have been set. Someone's already broken in. My goodness. Time to look at a footprint. No, never mind. Any doubt you might have had about this place goes away the second you're able to peer inside. In the darkness, you see the faintest outlines of glass vessels, strange pots, all arranged in something in between a witch's hut and a meth lab. This has to be the place, the Thin Blood's hidden secret laboratory, the focal point of their plans now laid open to you and Lydia. The door swings freely on its hinges as you push past it. You don't need much of a closer look to see why. The latch hasn't so much broken as it has been shattered, as if by the work of a crowbar. For a second you consider the possibility that the Thin Bloods could have done it on the way out, but then why would they have had to break their way out of their own hideout? Suddenly you hear a faint click. Above you, a bare light bulb flickers to life, filling the room with a wash of pale light. You turn and your chest tightens. You knew this moment would come eventually, the point where Sheg's dead! You'd have to face your allies, your real allies, while they clock you as an enemy. But that doesn't mean you're anywhere near ready for it. Mandy, Fleur-de-Lis, Will, and Sheg. Sheg's dead! He died like 3-4 chapters ago. I can't. I can't. They're all here. Even the ghost of Sheg. And they're not alone either. Could become 4 broad-shouldered figures in white dress shirts, fighting batons at the ready. Who are they? Oh, you resist the urge to smile. You didn't know if the Tyshawn Hwai were really going to show up or not, but the fact that they have means that if you end up having to fight your way out, your chances of survival have just improved dramatically. Hannah? Mandy stares at you, blinking in surprise, as if not quite sure what she's seeing. What the fuck are you doing here? We all were gathered at the theater. We all knew we were going to have to fight. Are you implying to me that at no point did I tell them that I was going to do the honeypot on Lydia? Did I never... Was that not an option when you asked me in the beginning of the chapter? They revived him? Yeah. They practice necromancy on the side. Mandy stares at you, blinking in surprise as if not quite sure what she's seeing. What the fuck are you doing here? She shakes her head. No, that's not the right question, is it? I should be asking what the fuck are you doing over there? That's a good question. What are you doing? If there was ever a time to betray Lydia, this is it. She's alone, worn down from the fight with Roderick and the other Thin Bloods, and your friends, your fellow hunters, are here in front of you. You won't get a better chance to reveal your real loyalties, to stab her in the back and make sure that she never leaves the Downtown Eastside in one piece. Then again, when you came up with this plan, you were so sure of it, so sure it was going to work, and so sure you were going to go through with it. But now even thinking of stabbing Lydia in the back feels not just wrong, but obscene. Like something that no sane person would do. I've never been accused of being sane. Like something that you contemplated only in a fit of complete and total irrationality. After all, even if you do pull it off, what would you have to look forward to? A shitty, threadbare existence in the worst part of the city? Living off odd jobs and scavenged food and whatever the taxpayers of the province of British Columbia are willing to begrudge? Why would you ever settle for that? Lydia's offering you a way out of that shithole. Are you really gonna turn it down? I am really gonna turn it down. I really am. Because, and here's why. Because what happened to Roderick is gonna happen to me. It's gonna be exactly the same. Mommy. Cameron's protecting us from all treacherous anarchs, wicked sabbat, and dangerous free thinking. That's correct, yeah. Mommy, I'm sorry. Mommy, no. You know what you have to do, but every time you even try to wrap your head around it, your mind fills with a sense of wrongness, as if you were thinking about something so awful that you find yourself drowning in shame for even thinking about it. How could you possibly betray Lydia at a time like this when she needs your help the most? After all she's done for you, after all she's promised to do for you, are you really going to stab her in the— Yes! Why is it doing this to me? After all she's promised to do for you, for a neighborhood that you hate, inhabited by people who treat you like garbage? Are you really going to give up glorious future, the future you deserve for the dregs of this city? Yes, because Zheng's spirit lives here. I have to preserve it. What kind of person would do that? Throw back all the kindness that she's offered right back into her face? No, you push those intrusive thoughts away. She might have her hooks in you, but you're not going to let her use them to drag you into becoming her personal attack dog. I'm her bloodhound. Because you're not a vampire's pet, you're a vampire hunter. And because your friends are counting on you. Yes, some friends. The other hunters, your allies, your friends, can see the hesitation in your face, they can see the doubt. They can't know what's going through your head right now, but given the circumstances, they sure as hell seem to be making a pretty good guess. All four of them look to you, waiting, hoping, or begging for you to make the right decision, and you can't help but look back. Mandy eyes you calmly with the cool confidence of someone who knows that you must be up to something, that this must be part of some plan, that the Hannah she knows would never help sell out her neighborhood for the sake of someone like Lydia. But there is a hint of doubt barely visible in those eyes. What if she's wrong, she asks herself. What if deep down inside you aren't the person she thinks you are? What if you've learned too much about how the world works to abandon the bright future the vampire next to you is offering? Shit, what if you have? What's happening? Yeah, Fleur-de-Lis doesn't trust me. Fine. What does Will think? In your weeks in the Downtown Eastside, you've seen rare glimpses of the vulnerability of the grizzled hunter, but he never showed you the secret of what he was really thinking under that celebrity. He never trusted you enough for that. Looks like he still doesn't. Great. No, none of my allies trust me. That feels so good, guys. It feels so good. One of them trusts you so much he's alive even though he's dead. Yeah, but none of the other ones trust me. It's so ass, I swear. Your eyes flick from your fellow hunters to Lydia and back again. The tension in that little room so thick it starts to almost choke you. It grows worse with every second. There's no way the vampire standing next to you doesn't know what's going on. There's no way she doesn't see the gears in your head turn. Yet she simply stands there letting your thoughts play out as if she already knows how this is going to end, as if she already thinks there's no way you could betray her now. As if she were so convinced of her hold over you that she doesn't even think that's even in doubt anymore. And maybe she's right. Every time you even think about moving against her, you feel a fresh surge of revulsion in your head. The harder you push against it, the harder it pushes back. What did Lydia do to deserve this betrayal? After all, we know! Why do you keep repeating yourself? Realization creeps in. She's done something to your thoughts, something that makes it hard for you to even think about hurting her. You're not sure how she's done it. You're not sure how it's working. We drank her blood, Hannah. Please, pay attention. All you know is that if you're going to bring her down, then you're not just going to have to find a way to beat her, but her hold over your mind as well. I shatter the hold Lydia has over me and do what I came here to do. I just know how to do that. Now that you know what it is, it almost becomes trivial to push back against it, to seize the sense of revulsion in both hands and push it down into the recesses of your thoughts, leaving your mind clear and ready for action, at least for now. It'll only be a matter of time before that feeling returns. The only way to break it for good is to kill the thing that put it there. And as your eyes catch on the flimsy plywood boarding up the window, you realize exactly how you're going to do it. If Lydia even has an inkling of what's going on inside your head right now, she doesn't show it. No, her attention is on the hunter standing in front of her and gloating over the victory she clearly thinks is already hers. What was the point of this? She asks in that smug, superior tone of someone who's asking a question she thinks she already knows the answer to. Did you think showing your faces and shedding a few tears would mean anything? She shakes her head, eyes burnished with arrogance. No, it'll take more than some cheap melodrama to shape the loyalty of my bloodhound. I am not your fucking bloodhound. I'm a trash panda. Whoa, I got an achievement. You've taken down a vampire by yourself. The achievement's called Let Me Solo Her. Doesn't know what a blood bond is, but somehow knows how to break it. Lydia reacts faster than any human could, but not fast enough. By the time she begins to turn, you are already in motion. By the time her eyes narrow and her body tenses and her lips open to answer, you're already wrapping your arms around her like a vice grip, pushing her off her feet, tackling her hard into the window beside her. There is a sharp, splintering crack as you throw the two of you through the thin, flimsy plywood and into the first rays of sunrise beyond. Lydia's expression flashes first to shock, then to fury, and finally to horror as the light of the coming day hits her. A scream wells up inside of her as you fall and as she falls with you through the chill dawn air. Too late. Her cold, dead flesh burns with a sudden and terrible heat, hot enough to singe the hairs on your skin in an instant as it bursts out from inside her in coruscating waves, consuming her from the inside out. Malice, treachery, power, and thirst all dissolve in the light of dawn, until all that is unnatural is wiped away. By the time you slam into the ground a second later, there is nothing left of Lydia Parker Cunningham but ash. Whoa, 2 more achievements. The power of incredible violence. Can an immortal undead feel pain? You'd like to think so. And reckoning. I couldn't see the last one. It disappeared too quickly. You open your eyes to the gentle light of the morning sun and to Will Royce looking down at you. You still in one piece, he asked, the barest undercurrent of worry in his voice. Yeah, I think so, you reply, looking yourself over quickly to make sure you really are. Good, he offers you his hand to help you up. One hell of a stunt, kid. Just don't ever pull anything like that again. I will if you don't kiss me. The others are waiting for you as Will pulls you back onto your feet. In their weary eyes, you see 100 unanswered questions, not just about what's happened tonight, but about what's going to happen in the days and nights to come. But those questions can wait. For now, you know that all of you will be happy enough, a happy ending, to look forward to the rest won by a rare and hard-fought victory. So it is with the exhausted satisfaction of the triumphant that you walk away together in silence, holding hands toward the light of the morning sun. End of Act 5. Oh, there's an epilogue as well. Okay, I'm gonna read the epilogue. This will be the end. Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna read the rest, but I do have to go to the bathroom, so give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Okay, epilogue. Unmaking. For about a week and a half afterwards, things were pretty okay. It wasn't easy. You still had to worry about food and rent and staying alive, but the big threat was gone. Food! The only thing you had to fear in the night were muggers and traffic accidents, and after the things you'd taken down, they didn't seem like much of a threat. Then Jangles died. Oh well. Cares. For the rest of the city, it was a line item in the local section of the Vancouver Sun. Local gang boss reported dead. Something to skim and forget about on their way to the important stuff in Ottawa or Washington or Kiev or Gaza. For the Downtown Eastside, it was the fucking apocalypse. Really? Oh no. But Jangles hadn't been perfect, but he hadn't been law-abiding, and in the grand scheme of things, he hadn't even been particularly fair. But he had kept the egos of those under him in check, and made sure that the underbosses who controlled drugs, guns, and sex work all spent their time and effort working together instead of against each other. With him gone, all that was gone too. Oh no! Without anyone to ride herd on them, Three Eyes and Dead Red immediately started fighting over who would become the top dog. The arguments that had simmered under the surface while Jangles was dying burst out into the open now that he was dead. Arguments became fistfights became knife fights became gunfights, and supporters of either side blasting at each other in the dark with the unregistered guns that Jangles had brought onto the streets, fighting over control or reputation or the flow of fentanyl which Jangles had flooded into the neighborhood. The rudimentary order, the few rules which had governed the downtown Eastside were gone. No line was too far to cross, not with everything on the line. Whatever sense of personal ethics the den mother of the sex workers and the captain of the drug addicts had once held were cast away for the sake of any fleeting advantage that might have given them an advantage. For any fleeting advantage that might have given them an advantage. What? It was only a matter of time before they came for you and your allies. Why? And why not? You were armed, you were organized, and even if you weren't part of Jangles' outfit, the others were. They wanted you on their side, yet when you and your fellow hunters tried to stay neutral, those invitations quickly turned to demands, then threats. Within a week, you couldn't go anywhere without being hounded by dark shapes lurking in the alleyways. Within 2, it wasn't even safe to go out anymore. You had 4 close calls in as many days as either Three Eyes or Dead Red's people tried to have a conversation with you, which would have probably involved the brass knuckles on their fingers and the knives in their hands. You had to get out of there, but there was nowhere for you to run. What's happening? The others had places to go, not good places or even safe ones, but ones that could let them get away from the conflict boiling over on the streets outside. You didn't. This game's like, you didn't side with the vampire? Well, screw you. You didn't. For a while, you'd wondered if you were going to be left alone out here. Abandoned to fend for yourself as the world around you collapsed and everyone who could get out did. A week passed with you living in fear as the others made their preparations to leave. They promised you that they were going to find a way out for you, a way to get you out of this place before it chewed you up. Deep down inside, you didn't believe them. No, there's a reason to, because none of them liked me. You stared at the walls around you as the footsteps behind you grew louder and louder. You turned left and right with a rising panic, only to find grimy brick, boarded up windows, and locked doors. No way out. Fuck. Why can't I go to Chinatown, to the Taishan Huai? They're my allies. Why can't I stay with them? You had been so close to, so goddamn close. They'd gotten your way out, your fellow monster hunters, your friends. Despite everything, they'd managed to scrape together enough money for something. A 1-bedroom apartment somewhere else in the city, a train ticket out to some province where they'd never even heard of this place. A new start, safe from Dead Red and Three Eyes and the bloodsuckers and everything else. They're probably waiting for you right now at the Stadium Chinatown station. All you had to do was get your stuff and meet them, but someone must have figured out what you were doing. They must have tipped off the gangs, let them know that they were about to slip out of their reach forever. Someone must have known that if they wanted to make an example out of you, it had to be now. The fuck? The steps grow louder, splashing through the wet puddles behind your back. When you realized that you were being tailed, you tried to throw them off. That had been a mistake. This is so out of left field. I did nothing. I interacted 0% with the gangs. You might know this neighborhood, but they know it better. They cut you off, hemmed you in, used their numbers to push you into a corner. And now that corner is growing smaller and smaller with every second. You could fight, you could give up, but you don't think it'll matter. You've seen what Dead Red and Three Eyes have done to people they consider their enemies. Whatever lines or ethical codes that might have restrained them before are long gone now, sacrificed on the altar of victory. If making the most brutal examples they can helps them win, they'll do it. And you really doubt they'll make an exception for you. The footsteps grow louder, dozens of them, far too many to fight. These could be your last moments alive, at least if you're lucky. What the fuck? I stole food one time. One time. I could have avoided this, couldn't I? I mean, somehow that I don't really know. Some way that I'm not aware. Maybe there was something you could have done somewhere down the line. I don't know. Maybe if you made a different choice, had different priorities, things would have turned out differently. Maybe if you'd done things differently, you wouldn't be here facing a fight. Thank you. That's very helpful. I don't know. How am I supposed to know? I'm just playing a game. I should have... Shit, we should have tried to take control ourselves. I should have found a way out of here. I don't know. I was offered a way out. I should have taken it, Lydia's thing. Should have found a way to get out of here. Who knows how I would have done that. Yeah, I should have found a way to get out of here. I don't know. You can't say you didn't know this was coming. You knew that Jangles was on his way out almost a month ago. More than that, you knew what kind of shit show. I was busy doing other things. Saber was going to turn into when he went to. You should have come up with an escape plan, made connection with someone who could have gotten you out. Said you focused on what you thought was the real enemy and only thought about getting out when it was far, far too late. And now you're trapped. Trapped. You shake your head to clear it. No, there's no point in thinking about this now. It's far too late. Okay. The footsteps sound almost like thunder now, or is that your heart in your chest? You feel a spike of fear run through your spine. You know what that means. They're almost here. How much longer do you have left? I hope my friends are going to be okay. I guess. Your friends. Even at a late time like this, you can't help but think about them. The people who faced down literal monsters alongside you, the ones who helped you do the impossible. They must still be waiting for you out there, hoping that you're okay. Mandy hadn't let the Downtown Eastside exploding into violence stop her. She still kept trying to help people, and not just you either. Even with bullets cracking over her head, she tried her best to deliver her aid packages and help out anyone who needed it. But eventually things got too dangerous, even for her. This thing with you, trying to get you somewhere safe, you think it might be her last remaining attempt to help someone out here, and now it's about to fail too. I don't care about Fleur-de-Lis. She doesn't know anything about me. You hope Will's gonna be okay. Sure, talk about his sobriety. Who cares? He doesn't care about me. What are we doing? What's happening? I'm so confused. You know, I don't normally skip through dialogue. I've played so many choice of games on this channel. I've never skipped through dialogues, but this is so much of these chapters and these events that are happening feel so weird. They feel weirdly like it doesn't matter what choices that you made. The scene is still going to happen and things are going to be referenced, like Shang, even though he's dead, are still going to be referenced whether you try and avoid it or not. Whether you make choices that have nothing to do with it and try and go a different... And if that's the case, then just don't present me with the choices. That's the way that you circumvent that. But presenting me with the choices and then still the scene happens exactly the same way anyway is very bizarre. And also there's no storyteller mode, so I could see what I'd be rolling as well. You know the odds are against you, but they've been against you, blah, blah, blah. Climb the walls. It's still, this is so weird. It's like, this is it. There's no way out. What are you thinking about? What movie is playing in your head as your life flashes before your eyes? And then it's like, well, what if I try and get out? I don't know. I'll look around for some high ground. What is this? So bizarre. It's so strange. And we're on the rails and it's not even rails local to us and we're just in Kansas or something. That's exactly what it feels like. Right now, you could use every advantage you can find, and the high ground is pretty much the only one you've got right now, so you'll look for some and find a pile of trash bags. No, too soft, too uneven. You'll have enough trouble keeping your footing. That dumpster too high up. It'll take long to climb, and your balance is nowhere near good enough to risk falling in. The fire escape. No, it's way too far off the ground. No, it's too late for any of this. Far too late. You have to face your foes with what you have, and what you have is far from enough. The horrors persist. You've won a battle and stand to lose a war. You're out of time. There, right in front of you, a ray of light between the packed bodies of onrushing horde, a way through the mass howling for your blood, maybe even a way out. But what good will it do? What are the odds that you're not just seeing things? Is this even real? I owe it to myself to give it a try, I guess. Sure. But so do I. But you will not give up, not just yet. If you were the kind of person who gave up, you'd have been dead long ago, but you're not. Every single time you face seemingly impossible odds, you've gritted your teeth, squared your shoulders, and locked the fuck in. It's nothing you've gotten so far, so the crowd comes for me and I just run through them. Sprinting, so you take a breath, clench your fists towards certain death, and bear a sliver of hope toward damnation and salvation bow, sprinting toward the light. If you beat your head against the wall, it is your head which breaks, not the wall. What are these? Running dog, bloodhound, unmaking, retriever, apex predator. I would love to know what is this? Yeah, is this the friends in a Scooby van? I would love to know what these things mean. What is this one is highlighted right there, but I don't know what any of this means. That's the end. That's the end. No, thank you. I am so confused about all of this. Look at my full health, my full willpower, or almost full willpower. I mean, literally right here it says, oh, whoopsies. It says the locals thinks you aren't half bad. And one of the options was like, whatever. I have no personal relationship about Fleur-de-Lis, but it says the locals think I'm not half bad. But before in the thingy, it was like, I should have helped the locals more or something. Well, I usually do a ranking of choice of games. And just so I can remember them all, because I have a bad memory of naming, I'm gonna Look at them all here. My most favorite choice of games game is Night Road. At the moment, my least favorite choice of games game was Sins of the Sires, for the reason that it felt like it wasn't, when I played it upon its release, it felt very not finished. It had a lot of build-up and not a lot of payoff. So I guess I would rank this about the same as Sins of the Sires. If I had to like make a ranking of all the choice of games game at the moment, this one sits at the bottom, because there was a lot of errors in the game, like flagging errors that popped up, unfortunately, where like someone who died kept reappearing in certain chapters. A huge thing for me when playing any choice of games game, if the romance doesn't happen, or if there really isn't time to develop a romance, or if you like, I literally didn't talk to anybody unless it forced me to, but Will. Every time there was an opportunity to talk to Will, I took that opportunity to talk to him. And it still said I didn't have enough relationship with him to even like tell him that I liked him. I told myself that I liked him, but I didn't get to tell him. And also that ending was very, very strange. As much as I didn't really care for Sins of the Sires, I thought that the wrap up of it was unfulfilling. This wrap up was weird. was just really weird. It's like we were playing baseball and then the end of the epilogue of the game is suddenly now we're playing street hockey. It felt very strange. So yeah, unfortunately, I love Hunter. Beast of Glenkildove is really good. It is a really solidly good game. I sort of rank them, if you wanted my rank, it goes Night Road, Book of Hungry Names, Out for Blood, and then Beast of Glenkildove. I'll do 4 there, since I just talked about Beast of Glenkildove being so great. Those are my top 4s. I also like Parliament of Knives, which is also a Canadian-based game. I'd probably rank that as number 5. But yeah, this one I'd have to put at the bottom. And it kind of sucks because I like the concept of it. I like that you are... I like that it's in Canada because so few games take place in Canada. I don't know anything about Canada. I like that you start off as like basically a street rat. I don't buy that. I like that you start off, as a homeless kid. I like the opening is really good. I like the idea, like it started off with like you had to look for food and you had to look for an apartment and you had to like panhandle or find some odd jobs. That was all good, but that stopped. That stopped pretty quickly. And I had assumed then that like with every interlude there would be, I go and I talk to my friends. I go and I try and find food. I go and I try and find money. But that's not what happened. That disappeared really quickly, and the interludes just became mini plots that were still part of the main plot. It was really strange. So yeah, I think that given time, and like maybe this game needed more time to be fleshed out. Maybe it needed more testing to have been polished, refined, maybe. You could have run with one of the friends. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know. I have no clue. I don't need to be sitting here talking about it so long. I'm just so surprised because I'm just shocked, honestly. Where is the achievements for this gaming, huh? Hunter's up here somewhere. I have so many games on my Steam. It's insane. There we go. Achievements. There they are. Yeah. There's 24 achievements I can't see, so I don't know. I really don't know. Like, you chose them over the vampire, you reunited with them, so wouldn't at least Will take you with him? Yeah, I don't know. I really couldn't say, and I couldn't say if that's like, if like there was a false flag ending, where like the ending was like I, killed Lydia, like I let Lydia get killed earlier or something, or like I don't know. I really couldn't say. I don't think so, because if that was the case, I would have been with Lydia and my friends would be dead, but it mentioned my friends. So I think what was the defining factor is that I didn't have a high enough relationship with any of them for any of them to take me with them. was what it was. And because they didn't like me enough, they didn't think I was worth saving, even though I single-handedly killed the vampire. But whatever. But okay, that was Hunter the Reckoning, A Time of Monsters. That is... Are there under... Yes, there is Hunter the Reckoning, Beast of Glenkildove. That one takes place in Ireland. I really like that one. I like that one so much. There's also Vampire the Masquerade Out for Blood, which is a technically it's a vampire choice of games game, but it is about hunters because Hunter the Reckoning 5th edition book hadn't come out yet. So it does basically deal with you are hunters, and it has one of my favorite romances in it. There is a paraplegic man in there you can romance, and it is one of my favorites. That's why I rank it so high, because the romance is excellent. I love it. There's a whole scene where like, you know, it even talks about like, you know, any difficulty he has because he is a paraplegic. And you sit on his lap a lot, which I'm a huge fan of. It's so good. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm bizarre. I'm strange. That's what people like about me. Anyway, so we are finished with that. Thank you everyone for joining me all these weeks to play these Choice of Games games. Any new Choice of Games that are upcoming, they should be on. There is another one they announced. I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's on their website. I'm pretty sure they announced it. I'll be playing it here as well. And yeah, I think you should try it out for yourself. Maybe I am just extremely unlucky and got a very buggy version of the game, or the choices I made, like no one could anticipate the Chaos Gremlin choices I would make in the quality assurance testing of the game. But I would love to head to the World of Darkness Discord and talk about the game there. And I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. I hope you have an amazing holiday season, excellent New Year's, and just beautiful, excellent lives, actually, all the way around. New games have bugs. Yes, they do. I am so fortunate that every Choice of Games game I have played has not had many, if any, bugs at all. I think that's another thing that shocked me so hard, is that this one has had more bugs, has had more bugs for me than any Choice of Games game I played combined. I think that's one thing that shocked me. But thank you, everyone.